Hey guys, Nathaniel Hammond here on my final call to action speech on lowering incarceration rates for nonviolent offenders. So here we go. Did you know there are more federal incarcerations for nonviolent drug offenses than there are for homicide, aggravated assault, kidnapping, robbery, immigration, arson, all sex offenses, extortion, and bribery combined? Now, it is my duty and belief as an American citizen to inform you of the alarming rates of incarceration and long sentencing being upheld in our justice system today. It is my stern belief that we, as a society, need to lower prison rates by reducing sentencing for nonviolent offenders and reevaluating our approach to sentencing for violent offenders. Having reduced sentencing will help alleviate some of the social burdens associated with impoverished communities. Broken homes, family members being incarcerated are all reasons I believe that these communities and families stay impoverished. Um, by having a family member not leave the home or be in the home for an influence will easily change the scope of incarceration rates. By having parenting, I mean, simple parenting can lead to so much, but we don't do that. Now, we have to look at the numbers to understand why we have such high incarceration rates. As a country, we incarcerate more than anybody. We make up 5% of the world's population, yet we house over 25% of the world's inmates. 2.2 million people are currently behind bars, and that is up 700% since the 1970s. We also spend an average of $83 billion to house that many inmates. Um, this is more of a cry and a call to action to saving our communities. To give you some more numbers, right now in America, there are over 1 million dads incarcerated. And that is just sickening. I mean, if you want to make your call to action, let's keep the families in the home and realize that maybe our drug policies of the 1980s and when these laws were enacted were just off. They're just wrong. According to Judge John Gleeson of the U.S. District Court, of these arrests, 7% of these arrests are actually spent on kingpins, like the drug dealers, the guys that like you herald and call the trophy guys. The other 93% are low-level first-time offenders that because the laws when they were enacted were so biased and so broken, they're receiving the same 10-year minimum to life in prison without parole sentencing. Now, these stats are derived just from crack cocaine. To give you an example of these stats, you can have 100 grams of cocaine and 1 gram of crack. Now, I don't have a visual representation of the actual thing, but if you want to look here, imagine this is 100 grams of cocaine, okay? And this is 1 gram of crack. This is equal in the eyes of the federal government and in our penal system, which means if you were caught with this, you might as well have had this because it's the same penalty. But the flip side of this, poor communities have this. This is crack rock. This is what is sold in most inner city ethnic neighborhoods that are causing people to be locked up at the alarming rates. To get a hold of this is thousands of dollars. And in most times when you have this, you have the power of attorney and money to fight the prison systems and the penal system. So getting a charge of stick is going to be way harder when you have no money and you're just trying to sell this. This is one of the reasons why our system is so broken. These laws were enacted in 1986. This was all centered around when crack cocaine made its appearance in our streets. The drug war got politicized and went to which candidate can push harder for harsher penalties. And that lasted through Reagan, Bush, Clinton, and we haven't done anything to change it. I mean, we don't use phones or technology anymore from the 80s. Why would we keep our drug laws or policies in line with the time that we don't even correlate or recognize anymore? It's preposterous. But we have to also look at, because some of the nonviolent offenders locked up have a history of violence, there has to be a way to rehabilitate both. I mean, it's easy to say nonviolent offenders should be looked at, but let's look at the whole scope of things and realize why people commit violent crimes and how long do you lock them away for, and what is the right mindset. Well, according to studies in Norway, there's been studies that associate the age of a person will correlate to the likelihood that they will will commit a crime. I mean, so basically saying you're this age, you might commit a crime. To further that, according to the Bureau of Justice and Statistics, homicide and drug arrest rates peak at age 19. Not even in 20, we're talking teenagers. According to the Bureau of Justice, while arrests for forcible rape peak at 18, some crimes such as vandalism crest even earlier at age 16, while arrest rates for forgery, fraud, and embezzlement peak in the early 20s. Now, for most of the crimes the FBI tracks, more than half of all offenders will be arrested before they are 30. Now, you get the life sentence as a 19-year-old when your probability and likelihood of committing a crime only exceeds 11 years, and you're going to spend possibly 60 to 70, 50 years in jail because you made one wrong move, because the system was biased towards you, because you decided to sell crack instead of cocaine. Makes no sense. To give the alarming rates to help enforce these statistics, 1 in 17 white men will go to jail in their lifetime. In opposite of that, 1 in 3 black men will go to jail in their lifetime. Why is that? It is viewed in the eyes of the government and most statistics groups and findings that everybody does drugs pretty equally and sells pretty equally. So why are we seeing such huge numbers on the ethnicity sides of our numbers? It's because simple. They're selling crack instead of cocaine. And that's it. I mean, if the process of locking up our citizens at alarming rates continues, we will continue to see alarming rates of incarcerations, leading to overpopulated prisons, leading to a lack of proper rehabilitation. I mean, it all leads to more spending, more broken homes, and just another downfall of our society where we lock up instead of rehabilitate. And that is sad to me. And that's why the call to action here is to repeal these laws. We have to change policy making. I don't care if you agree with whether or not people should or should not be doing drugs. People should not be receiving more sentences for selling one little rock of cocaine or crack than a man that forcibly rapes somebody. That is just wrong in my eyes. That it should not go down that way. Call to action and things that we can do are multiple petitions. I mean, there are so many online petitions that will get your name in your neighborhoods, in your communities heard, that will go to the government. There are 2 bills currently being in legislation to lower these rates. So make sure you're registered to vote to know when these come up that you can vote for them. In conclusion, imagine what would happen if these members of our society could go home. I mean, we would look at far less broken homes, parents managing families instead of so many broken homes and kids running to the streets, and all the other stuff that goes alongside impoverished communities not having a family to lean on. I mean, that's what it comes down to. It's one of the biggest reasons America has been amazing is the growth and usage of families and the influence they have upon us. So I hope I leave you with some food for thought and a way that you can possibly think about how we really need a call to change this, because it is so unfair and people deserve to have their lives back. I appreciate you taking the time to listen. For the record, I am broadcasting live on Skype to my bandmates and my girlfriend from the hospital. So I hope you guys all had a great semester, and I enjoyed talking with you. Cheers.